Do you know what really sucks? Is sitting down to edit your project and realizing that you have gaps in your coverage or shots missing. You need to have a really good, specific, and detailed shot list. Head over to filmmakersecrets.com/shot list, SHOTLIST, to get a killer shot list template along with some training where I show you step by step exactly how to use it.
I grabbed my friend and we shot half of it and it was at like 45 seconds. And we were like, oh shoot, because this has to be, it had to be 60 seconds.
Filmmakers have the power to evoke emotion, inspire thought, and drive universal change in this world. Right now, a real seismic shift is happening in the film industry. This is your best chance to join a new filmmaking movement. You have been called to create an everlasting impact with your unmatched, deep desire to tell authentic stories. So how does a filmmaker thrive in an environment that is almost intentionally designed to bring you down? That is the question, and this podcast reveals the answer. What's happening, filmmakers? It's George VK. Welcome to Filmmaker Secrets podcast, episode number 65. And I have with me a very special guest, Tate Mohlenkamp. Am I pronouncing that correctly, your last name?
Yes, okay. Not a lot of people get that right. So
awesome. There you go. So Tate is a filmmaker and the grand prize winner of the recent 7-day CineRacing challenge, where filmmakers were tasked with writing, shooting, and editing a 60-second film from scratch in just 7 days. Tate's very funny short film entitled 60-Second Job truly made a big impression on the judges and took first place. So Tate, go ahead and say what's up to our filmmakers and reveal the one filmmaker secret that you have been keeping from us.
Well, what's up, everyone? I guess if I were to put a secret, or like what my secret, I guess, going into doing film is really like, don't always second guess yourself. Because I find you can, like, a lot of times I found in projects that my gut instinct was better than, if I went back and like, I don't know how to put it in right words, but like I've done projects where I wish I would have gone with the first thought that I had.
Yes.
And And that also helps because your process, like you can get work done faster, but also it's efficient as well.
That's really profound. And I totally agree with you, because the more doubt you have in your own decisions, the longer it's going to take for you to actually land on a decision and be able to move forward in the process. Because we all know that filmmaking is just the whole filmmaking production process, starting from the conception of the idea all the way through to when you actually edit the thing and deliver it, whether it's for a client or to submit to film festivals. There is a lot going on. It's such a collaborative art form. And even if you're doing it all yourself, you're still having to take hats off, put different hats on, right? And, that is quite evident within the recent CineRacing challenge that you participated in and you took first place. Talk to me about your overall experience. Like, have you done a film race before? Did you have any sort of initial struggles or doubts about your ability to actually accomplish it?
Yeah. So I've actually done a couple 48-hour film challenges. And because when I was in college this year, we did one in like Iowa, and that was a lot of fun. And so I've kind of had experience in like doing like really fast films in like a very short amount of time. And so when I saw this on like an Instagram ad or something, I was like, 7 days. That's like, compared to, I was like, I can do that.
That's an eternity. Yeah, I can make 7 films in that time.
Yeah, exactly. But the difference, when I was in college, I didn't really have like a job at the time. And so when I signed up for this, all of a sudden my job started to like, I got like a lot of work and I had to like do a lot of stuff with that. And I was like, oh shoot, I'm not gonna have as much time as I thought I was going to have for this. So I grabbed my friend. We really spent like probably like a day filming, and then I spent like the next 2 just like editing and stuff together. But I wrote a script like the first day, because that's you don't need like a crew and stuff to write that. But I grabbed my friend and we shot half of it, and it was at like 45 seconds. And we were like, oh shoot, because this has to be, it had to be 60 seconds. Because that whole end thing with, for anyone who hasn't seen it, when it like at the end, they like throw everything into this dude's car and he drives away. We were originally going to try to do like an Edgar Wright kind of style, like fast motion type thing where it's us like grabbing stuff and the camera's, whipping around and stuff like that. And we just were like, we're not going to be able to fit that in like a 15-second frame. And so that's why it just kind of cuts off towards the end. But I think it's still kind of funny that happened. But my friend isn't like he's not like a film guy. He does performances and stuff. So he was like a good person to ask to be an actor. But I remember when we started filming it, we were filming for about 30 minutes and he was like, wow, I can't believe we're not done yet. And I was like, we've only been filming for like 30 minutes, but he wasn't used to like having to do. If you're a
theater performer, you're like, all right, rehearsals. And then you get through the performance. You're like, this is only supposed to be 1 minute, like 60-second thing.
Yeah.
We're not done yet we're only on our first shot.
Yeah, exactly.
The first 30 minutes.
Well, there's like that one shot where it's like him saying like, oh my God, like in like 4 different shots. And we had to do that, 4 different times. And he was like, oh, I thought we'd just film me do that. And then that would be it,
That's the beauty of filmmaking, is where you actually get to play around with the perspectives, different angles, different pacing, rhythm, all of those things. I think that's what makes it really exciting from the very beginning of when you're just writing the script, kind of imagining those things, right? Mm-hmm. And then when you're shooting, you get to discover new things, but you've hopefully made a plan, at least some sort of shot list, some sort of storyboard, right? And then this is a lot of what we talked about during the CineRacing Challenge, where I went live. I'm not sure if you were able to catch any of that. I know you said, and that's a really great point, actually. You said that you had a lot of work that came up and you realized I actually have less time, but you were still able to finish it on time and get first place, even though you were likely working, your regular job even more so than you had imagined. And so all the way through making those decisions in post-production, what did that process look like? I know you wrote it and co-wrote it with your friend. And then after you guys shot it, you go into post-production, right? And you have to kind of put all these pieces of the puzzle together and figure out what the final story is actually going to be. What was that like for you?
It was kind of different because I'm used to, like, when I make a video, I film like the whole video and then I edit it afterwards, Yeah. But this was a little bit different because we had to split the filming into like almost like 2 days, like first half one day, second half like the next day. And so I edited like the first half, and then that was kind of interesting because it kind of helped me see like how to edit or how to film the second half. Like I kind of looked at it and I was like,
interesting.
I was like, oh, this shot should be, I should be filming this a little bit differently, or I should like have this compositioned a little differently, when we film tomorrow.
That's awesome. So it's almost like you had something between, dailies to something like a rough cut, to where you can actually see what are the pickup shots that we need. Perhaps there's something we need to reshoot to make the story make more sense, or to kind of round out that 60 seconds in a nice little package. And I love the way that it ends. And I think that little capper at the very end is what sends sort of that payoff to the audience, where the judges had a really strong reaction to, those elements, because the films were judged on sort of equally on 3 bases: how the story is conveyed, whether it's clear, whether it makes sense, and then equally for the kind of technical aspects of the cine race, where you're incorporating the prop in a creative way. The line of dialogue that was required is included in your script and in the dialogue, obviously. And then your character actually makes sense. This was an interior designer. So that's awesome. Once again, congratulations. Did you receive the t-shirt, by the way?
Yeah, it's hanging in my closet over there.
Awesome. Perfect. Enjoy it. No, that's fine. I'm wearing it right now for the both of us.
Oh, yeah.
enjoy that t-shirt. I hope it's comfy and brings you much luck in your future film productions. Now, switching gears a little bit from the Cine Race, I'd love to know, Tate, take me way back to that moment where you had this spark to become a filmmaker. I'm always curious to learn because everybody's journey into this crazy filmmaking world is slightly different. Talk to me about what was happening around you. Tell us that story.
So I guess it all started like when I was in high school and I got my first like laptop that had like a video editing software on there. And I was really the only person in my school who like really liked making films and videos and stuff like that. And so I kind of got that reputation like through the high school of like, oh, that's Tate. He's the guy who does like video stuff. So if you need,
right, yeah,
if you like need a video, just go ask him. And then we had like a little, like, it wasn't really like, we didn't have like a student council, but it was like the people who planned events, I guess. And I was part of that. And so whenever we'd have like events that the school would have, I would make like a sketch or like a video that would get like blown up on the projector. And it would kind of introduce like what we're going to do during the year and stuff like that. And so I really like doing that. And then I kind of like, I didn't have like a ton of people who like to make films with me. And so I started doing like Lego stop motions and stuff, which is like, I think that really helped me because it was through like, using little Lego people that I understood like composition and like, over the shoulder shots and things like that. When I eventually went to college and started learning more about film, I was like, oh, like I've been doing this stuff without even realizing, it actually had a name to it, or like there was like I didn't even know what the rule of thirds was, but I was already following what it was. It was weird.
So those skills really like transferred over to the world of filmmaking, like live action, where you actually have real actors and you're not having to move them, a millimeter and then take a photo. You're actually just capturing the motion and for these characters to kind of be playing around in this environment that you've created for them. That's awesome. I really like that story. So thanks for sharing. What would you kind of change after having done, a couple of film races and now the CineRacing challenge, going into, let's say potentially you were going to be contracted by a brand to film a commercial and you only had 1 week to do it? What would you change about your process or about your pre-production or how you get ready for the film shoot, knowing the things that you have learned now?
That's a good question.
I make him spicy.
Well, one, I would probably find at least one or two other people who like know more about filmmaking and stuff like that. Because a lot of times, like this last challenge I did, like everyone it was basically just me and my friend, but he didn't know like anything about cameras or anything. And so I was like, and my camera doesn't have autofocus on it. So he would be like behind the camera and he was like trying to figure out if I was in focus or not. So one, I would find just like one or two other people who would like actually like know how to work the gear or just, know filmmaking and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, that definitely helps. You found yourself in a similar position that I did on a 48-hour film festival, film race that I completed last year, I think it was. And I had a crew assembled. And then the day before, two of my crew members dropped out and went to a different team. And then the day of, the guy that I was going to now have as my DP had a family emergency, so he couldn't do it. So I turned to my wife and I said, babe, you're going to have to run sound because now I have to shoot as well as having written the thing and direct it and light it and do everything else myself. So I totally feel your pain. But I think with those struggles and those challenges and roadblocks, you kind of find a way. I think we as filmmakers always find a way to adapt and overcome those obstacles. Would you say that was probably your biggest struggle, is just the lack of crew? So you're having to not only create this thing in 7 days and be working your full-time gig or whatever it is, but also having to coach a person that has never been on a film set feasibly Was that your biggest challenge?
Yeah, I'd say that and not having a boom stand was kind of a big challenge. But yeah, that was.
What did you do for audio in that case?
We both were wearing lavs.
Lavs.
They just had them like plugged into one of my little road goes.
Smart. I mean, yeah, you find ways and you adapt and make it work, whatever happens, whatever needs to happen. Well, Tate, this has been super awesome. Please, filmmakers, go ahead and head over to CineRacing.com to watch Tate's short film, his grand prize winner, as well as the rest. They'll be posted there pretty soon, along with information on how you can get involved in the next CineRacing Challenge, which is coming up really soon. Tate, I want to thank you so much for spending the time with me and chatting with me. I'm glad we could finally make this work after many attempts. Thank you so much for being on the Filmmaker Secrets podcast. I hope to speak with you again soon. If you like that, then you are going to love my CineRacing Challenge. This is a 7-day filmmaking competition where your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to write, shoot, and edit a short 60-second film in just 7 days for your one chance to win with over $10,000 in prizes. So head over to CineRacing.com. That's CineRacing.com to get registered. Spots are filling up fast and the timer is ticking before the next CineRacing Challenge launches. So be sure to head over to CineRacing.com right now to get registered. I'll see you over there.